Okay, Rabbi Sai, we are a few minutes away from Dinav. We're a few minutes away from the Tzion of the Heilige B'nai Yisoschor, Schus and Yugen Alayni. I'm going to speak a few minutes here in the Bas specifically, and then in Mitzvah in the Tzion. We'll speak by the Tzion of the Heilige B'nai Yisoschor, so hopefully we'll understand a bit more about who we are by and who we're going to be davening by as well, Be'ez Hashem. So just to begin, with Tzvi Elimelech of Dinav, of Tzvi Elimelech Shapira, the B'nai Yisoschor, he lived actually a very short life. From 1783 to 1841, he lived only 58 years. His mother was the daughter of the sister of the Rebbe of Elimelech of Lezhensk, the Noam Elimelech, and his parents actually had a bunch of children that unfortunately did not survive. They died. So when his mother was pregnant with him, so they went to the Rebbe of Elimelech for a bracha, and And it was a few months before the birth was scheduled. And the Rebbe of Elimelech said, you're going to give birth to a son, and you're going to call him Elimelech. So the woman was like, whoa, what does that mean? Does that mean you're not going to be in the world anymore? Like, well, I'm calling him after you. What does that mean? And the Rebbe of Elimelech understood that she was very, very shocked. And he said, okay, in that case, call him Tzvi Elimelech. After she gave birth, she named the baby Tzvi Elimelech, as the Noam Elimelech told her to. And the Rebbe of Elimelech said to her, if only you would have called him Elimelech, he would have been entirely like me. But now he's only been half like me. So at least we have a haskama for the Rebbe of Elimelech that the B'nai Yisoschor is at least a half of the Rebbe of Elimelech. And at one point of his life, he was actually drafted into the army. And he was taken by force and he was placed on a bus. And at one point during the journey, the whole bus fell. There were no survivors except for him. And when he left that bus, he ran away and he eventually survived. So he changed his name from Langsman, which was originally his name, to Shapira, specifically so that he would not be drafted again in the army. Now, he's famous for many Sfarim, incredible. In a short life, 58 years, but so many Sfarim. Some of the Sfarim I'll just mention. For example, he has obviously the B'nai Yisoschor, but Derech Pikudecha, which is on all the mitzvahs al pi Kabbalah, Ruach Dudoim, which is basically a beautiful sefer with actually the haskama of the Heilige Tzanza, the Divrei Chaim, Chedushi Maritza, which is all the inyonim of Chanukah. If you want to know who is his Rebbe, who is the Rebbe of the B'nai Yisoschor, so he had 4 primary Rebbeim that were his masters, his teachers, his Rebbeim. He had Reb Menachem Mendel of Rimanov, the Heilige Chayz of Lublin, the Koznitzer Magid, and Rabbi Avraham Yeshua Herschel. These were his manhigim, these were his rebbes. They taught him everything. Now, where does the whole business of Yisoschor, B'nai Yisoschor, where does that come? His name was Reb Tzvi Elimelech Shapira. What's the B'nai Yisoschor? Why do you call it that name? And that's the name that is almost named of, we're going to the B'nai Yisoschor. Why is he named after that name? And why did he name his Ikka Sefer Yisoschor? So in the Sefer Beis Shloima, Rav David Kahneman brings that the B'nai Yisoschor was always wondering which shevet he came from. Well, many of us wonder. I wonder which shevet we come from. There are some that have a Messiah where they come from, but the B'nai Yisoschor specifically was wondering which shevet does he come from. There was only one person to ask, and that was one of his Rebbeim, the Heilige Chayz. The Chayz was known. We've been to the cave a few times, if you remember, last year specifically. But the Chayz was someone that was able to see from one end of the world to the other end of the world. And he said, this Avada, the Chayz will be able to see right into my neshama. And it bothered me so much that, and it also bothered him his connection to Chanukah. Anyone that's familiar with the Sefer B'nai Yisoschor knows that until the B'nai Yisoschor came along, there was very little on Chanukah. Came along the B'nai Yisoschor and he was Megala Yisoides from unbelievable, from Zoya, from so many places, that he was Megala Chanukah. His neshama spoke very much to Chanukah, and it bothered him. Like, why? What is my connection to Chanukah, and why do I call my Sefer B'nai Yisoschor? So he went to his Rebbe, the Chayz. He knocked on the door, and before he had a chance even to say a word, the Chayz looked at him in the eye and he said, first of all, you come from Shevet Yisoschor, and that's what it is, which is amazing to have someone who knew which exact Shevet he came from. And what's your connection to Chanukah? He said, on Chanukah, you were in the Beis Din of the Chashmonaim at the time of Chanukah. So the B'nai Yisoschor had a son called Rebbe Lazar. Rebbe Lazar wrote a sefer called YBD, which he specifically called because once he heard that his mishpacha, his father was told by the Chayza that we come from Shevet Yisoschor, and in Divrei Yomim it says Shevet Yisoschor Yoidei Bina, so he called a sefer after that in that case. Now the Bnei Yisoschor had a grandson called Tzvi Shapira, who wrote a sefer with 102 explanations on 2 words. And those 2 words are Yehuda HaMaccabi. 102 explanations. The sefer is called Darkei Emunah, because he says that the Emunah is a gematria 102 explanations for the words Yehuda HaMaccabi, and he says it's from the Mishpacha, because after all, our connection of our Mishpacha, this is again a grandson of the Bnei Yisoschor, since our Mishpacha has a major connection to Chanukah. He used to say over that his Zayd of the Bnei Yisoschor always had tremendous chidushim on Chanukah, but he can only write them on Chanukah. So he said, as an Einikul, I'm continuing the minig of the Mishpacha to be megala some of the chidushim on Chanukah. So we see that the Bnei Yisoschor has a tremendous connection to Chanukah. I just want to mention one Mordecai Maisa, and then maybe we'll speak more inside the actual scene itself. One Mordecai Maisa about the Bnei Yisoschor. The Bnei Yisoschor's father, Pinchas Shapira, was a Melamed. He used to teach children, and at one point it happened, whatever it was, that the village that he traveled far away from his mishpacha, he was giving out a lot of loans. He was like pre-giving tzedakah. So when he was asking loans from his boss that paid him money for being Melamed of children. So when it came to getting his wages and going home before Yom Tov to be with his mishpacha, to be able to support the family, he came to his boss. He said, please, can I have my wages, for the year that I've been here? And the boss made a cheshbon, and he said, I'm so sorry, with all the tzedakahs that you gave of your wages, there's nothing left. So he left despondent. He was unhappy. How am I going to support my family? What am I going to do? I gave tzedakah, whatever. But he was makabel. The Rebbeinu Shalom never hurts a person. Person never gets damaged by doing the right thing, by doing chesed, whatever it was. So Reb Pinchas came back Erev Yom Tov to his mishpacha, to his children. One of them, of course, the Bnei Yisoschor, and he wasn't able to support them. One day, this young Tzvi Elimelech was with his friends, and they were playing near like one of the post offices over there in Dinov, and excitedly they were watching as this beautiful unusual scene of a carriage that pulled up in the cobblestone floor of Dinov comes over there. This beautiful nobleman, very nicely dressed, very smart, comes along. And they're playing over there, and they're looking at him, and they're seeing what's going on over there. And as the nobleman pulls away, he throws a package to the little Tzvi Elimelech, the Heilige Bnei Yisoschor, and he takes it into his father. He runs into the base medrash and says, Tati, look what I got. I got this package. He opens it up. There's no simonim, there's no names, there's no signs, there's no way of giving it back. Who was the nobleman? He tried to describe him. Obviously, we can keep the money. And they opened it up, and it was exactly the money that he was owed before he came home for Yom Tov. Interestingly enough, that Tzvi Elimelech, the Heilige Bnei Yisoschor, was given the job to open up the door for Shvoi Chamascha when it comes to open the door for Eliyahu Hanavi on Pesach Seder night. So little Tzvi Elimelech ran over to open the door for Eliyahu Hanavi, and he screamed and he said to Tati, the nobleman that gave me the purse, because he came again to our door over here by Pesach Seder, and his father begged him, please don't tell anyone that you were able to see that, because obviously it's a very high madrega. So Rabbi said we're going to a very big tzaddik, a tzaddik that we don't even really understand the level that he was on, but maybe perhaps we can connect to something to do with Chanukah, which maybe we'll discuss more as well. It's a choshev inyan to go to Kivit Tzadikim. We'll be able to daven for ourselves, daven for Klal Yisrael, which we'll speak about in Mitzvah Hashem there as well. We'll mention a couple more other meises as well. Me'ez Hashem, the Rebbeinu Shalom, give us the Yata D'Shmai, the Ordat Tefillahs, Shemim Kabbalah Tova.